We of course recently got the big but not necessarily amazing news regarding the original Red Dead Redemption game, and that is that it will be releasing on PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. Of course, Nintendo Switch, that's great. It's great for those Nintendo players to be able to experience a Rockstar game, which of course they don't get many of, and also to be able to experience Red Dead Redemption, the beginning of the franchise, and it is a great game. There's no denying that Red Dead Redemption is a fantastic game. It really is one of the best games of all time in my opinion, and of course the story is very, very good. And yes, to be able to play an open world game like that on a Nintendo Switch is great for those Nintendo players, and it's also nice for any other people, that may have already played the game, but also want to be able to play it in handheld mode. That's a really nice way to be able to do that. But then, of course, we get to the disappointing side of things, which we'll talk about throughout this entire video, and that is that it's releasing on PlayStation 4, and also the fact this isn't a remake, this isn't a remaster, this is quite literally just a basic re-release. And in this video, we'll be talking about absolutely everything you need to know about this Red Dead Redemption 1 port to Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4. We'll go over everything Rockstar have said, all of the rumours, when it's releasing, and yeah, basically everything you need to know before you play this Red Dead Redemption 1 port, or maybe a few things you need to know before you make sure that you don't pick up this Red Dead 1 port. So let's waste no more time and let's get straight into the video. So to start things off, we'll read exactly what Rockstar have said in their newswire, and they have said this: Red Dead Redemption and Undead Nightmare coming to Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4 on August 17th. Experience the epic western adventure of Red Dead Redemption and its groundbreaking zombie horror companion, Undead Nightmare, as both games come to the Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4 for the very first time in a single package. In a new conversion by Double 11 Studios, the Switch and PlayStation 4 versions bring the two classic experiences together again for both new players and original fans to enjoy across modern consoles, including backwards compatibility with the PlayStation 5. One of the most critically acclaimed games of all time, with over 170 Game of the Year awards, Red Dead Redemption tells the story of former outlaw John Marston as he journeys across the sprawling expanses of the American West and Mexico to track down the last remaining members of the notorious Vandalind gang in a bid to save his family. Relive or experience for the first time the events immediately following the epic tale of honor and loyalty in the 2018 blockbuster Red Dead Redemption 2, as Marston hunts down his former friends and outlaws Bill Williamson and his former gang leader Dutch Van der Linde as the era of the cowboy comes to its end. Red Dead Redemption on Nintendo Switch and PS4 also includes Undead Nightmare, the hallowed story expansion that reimagines the world of Red Dead Redemption as Marston fights to survive a relentless zombie horde and searches for a cure in a spooky supernatural twist on the western game. In addition to both classic single-player experiences, newly supported languages include, for the first time, simplified and traditional Chinese, Korean, Polish, Brazilian, Portuguese, Russian, and Latin American Spanish. Red Dead Redemption and Undead Nightmare will be $50 on the Nintendo Switch eShop and PlayStation Store, with physical releases arriving on October 13th. Add Red Dead Redemption to your wishlist now on the Nintendo eShop and PlayStation Store to receive a notification when it does become available. So there we go, that's everything Rockstar have said. Of course they did have a trailer, just a 1-minute trailer, which literally just shows gameplay, or not even gameplay, just cutscenes of the original Red Dead Redemption game. And there you go, that is literally everything Rockstar have said. And basically, yeah, we're just getting the exact same game over on PlayStation 4 and Nintendo Switch. Now, the one thing that really disappoints me is that there is no real improvements. There are some slight lighting improvements by the looks of things from screenshots when it does come to the game over on, of course, PlayStation 4. But on Nintendo Switch, of course, you wouldn't expect any graphical improvements on Nintendo Switch. That's not something I would expect personally. But I do think it's quite disappointing with how this has sort of happened. Most people were expecting a remaster and for that to release on all consoles, and also for it to be a bit cheaper. So I think the first thing we'll talk about is the price. So the game is at $50. Now, I think that is overpriced. First of all, the game is already cheaper on Xbox and already a better experience on Xbox. You can play the game on the Series X at 4K 60 frames per second for £30, or even less than that, to be honest. And that is, of course, a very, very good deal. You're getting a great game, and you're getting it at a cheap price. You're getting it at high resolution and high frame rates. And that has always been the case since Xbox Series X is actually released. You've always been able to do that. And that has not been the case on PlayStation 4, and of course not on Nintendo Switch, and also not on PlayStation 5. It was through PlayStation Now, but they then removed that earlier in the year. And then, yeah, basically, we're getting it on PlayStation 4 But of course, if it's on PlayStation 4, it's not going to be 60 frames per second, it's going to be 30, and it's also not going to be 4K. Now, it's possible the game is actually PS4 Pro enhanced, it says this on the PlayStation Store, so it is possible it will be 60 frames per second on PlayStation 5. We can't rule it out, it is likely, well, not likely, but it is, yeah, possible. There is a chance, so I wouldn't have your expectations too high, since of course, I'm sure even if you had your expectations low for this, they're still, you know, you're probably still disappointed. But it is possible that on the 17th of August, and by the way, this will release at 10 AM BST, so that's 10 AM UK time, 9 AM UTC, so yeah, it's going to release it basically in the morning, and yeah, this is, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what it's like on PlayStation 5. Of course, this isn't a PlayStation 5 game, it is a PS4 version of the game, there is no next generation version, and it is also $50, so for most people, that's far too much. The game is cheaper on the older consoles, so yeah, that is a really disappointing price tag. I think considering there's really no improvements, to just add an extra $20 or so to the price tag really is just too much. They shouldn't have done that. Of course, Take-Two, I believe, said that it's a competitive price or something like that, but I just don't think it's right to be able to, you know, just re-release the game basically and just increase the price. It's just a bit scummy in my opinion. Now, there are some improvements to the graphics on PlayStation 4, but they're nothing major. They're quite literally just sort of, it issue just looks like the game's brighter, to be honest with you. There's really no major improvements, but there are going to be some, and I'm sure it will be, you know, a nice experience. I'm not saying it's going to be awful. I can play on 30 frames per second, but it isn't how I would like to play the game. I'm disappointed that there isn't, I'm mainly disappointed there isn't a next generation version, and of course one of the other major disappointments is that it's not on PC. This is not coming to PC at all. But yeah, it's disappointing to see. Of course, it's not developed by Rockstar, it's developed by Double 11 Studios. I'm not going to get annoyed at them since, you know, they're just developing the game, and I'm sure it is going to be good. I do think it isn't, I don't think it's going to be bad, I just think it's overpriced, and also disappointing it's not really a remaster at all. It isn't a remaster, and there is no next generation version. But if you're on Xbox, then, you know, obviously you've already got the game, so you're not going to be getting anything on the 17th of August, since you've literally, you can already experience the game in great condition. But obviously it's going to be nice for those people on PlayStation that haven't played the game yet, since it's just been on PS3. And of course, for those on Nintendo Switch, this is great. There's nothing really to complain about other than the price tag over on Nintendo Switch, but it's always a high price tag over on Switch, so if you're a Switch player, you're probably used to that by now. But yeah, it is a bit disappointing, but that is everything we know so far, and probably everything we will know until it releases on August 17th at 10 AM UK time. So yeah, I mean, the price tag really is the main downside, and of course there's literally no improvements, it's just a re-release. But yeah, I am disappointed, but at the same time, it's Red Dead 1. You know, it's going to be good to be able to play the game again. But of course that price tag is ridiculous, and also not being on PC is also really disappointing. I was expecting a remaster, and I did believe it would release on all platforms. I didn't know, actually, I was debating in previous videos whether it would release on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and well, turns out I was completely wrong, and it is releasing on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and not on PlayStation 5, which, you know, pretty interesting, and well, that is just the way it is. But hopefully it will be nice to experience the game again, and hopefully it will be 60 frames on PlayStation 5, but I doubt it. I don't know if it will be. There's just really no way of knowing until it does release. But either way, that is everything you need to know about Red Dead Redemption 1 before you buy it, and also before it does release on August 17th. And yeah, that does just about wrap up things here. Let me know down in the comments if you'll be purchasing this Red Dead Redemption 1 port on Nintendo Switch or PlayStation 4 and 5. And yeah, that is everything that we needed to talk about in this video. On screen now, you are seeing a link to a different video. Hit the link on the screen if you are interested in watching that.